As an archer, you know that precision and consistency are the keys to success, but did you know that the balance of the limbs dramatically affects those qualities in archery? I'm going to show you what tiller is, how to adjust it, how to balance it, and how to set it up perfect for your bow. Have you ever noticed that you have different measurements on the top versus your bottom limb? That is actually called tiller, or tiller split more concisely. Tiller is essentially the difference in the top and bottom limb distance, and that dramatically affects the balance of the bow and how comfortable it is at full draw. Depending on your shooting style, you're going to need various different setups for different types of finger holds, whether that be for split finger, like you're shooting 1 above, 2 below, or 3 under, or even string walking if you're shooting bare bow. All three of those styles require various different tiller splits, and they can dramatically affect the way the bow feels at full draw, ultimately how comfortable it is and how easy it is to shoot. But as far as performance is concerned, it is also important to make sure that the limbs are balanced when at full draw. So how you measure tiller is very simple. You use a bow square. I've got an L square here, but a T square works just the same. And what you want to do is put it against the base of your limb where it meets the riser, and then measuring at a 90-degree angle to the string, make note of the distance. In this case, I'm at 7 1/16 on the top, and on the bottom, I'm at 6 15/16. So when you do the math, that's an 1/8 inch shorter on the bottom. So it's important to compare the top versus the bottom. It's not important to just get the top measurement or just the bottom measurement. You have to compare the two of them when discussing the balance or the tiller of the bow. On bows such as this that have adjustable limb bolts or tiller bolts, they are there for a reason, and you can adjust them independently of each other to adjust the tiller on the bow itself. The way you adjust tiller is very simple. You'll need an Allen wrench to loosen up the locking mechanism in the back of the bow where the limb bolt is. And then depending on the direction you want to actually move the tiller, you would make adjustments differently on the top versus the bottom. You don't have to make adjustments equally on top and bottom. You can focus on just one or the other, and there is no real reason that you would want to pick one or the other unless you're trying to control your draw weight and how you change that. Essentially what you want to do, if I wanted to shrink the top measurement and grow the bottom measurement, I would increase the tension on the top limb. If this is confusing to you, all you need to do is grab your limb, whichever one, it doesn't matter, and if you were to make the limb stronger on one side, in this case I'm going to make the top limb stronger, it will shorten the string measurement on the top and increase the string measurement on the bottom. So it's a very simple balancing act of, if you want the top to be shorter, increase the tension by screwing the tiller bolt in a clockwise direction, increasing the tension, which would shorten the top. Or if I wanted to make the top one bigger, I would reduce the amount of tension on the limb bolt. When making very large adjustments on your tiller, it's a very good idea to unstring your bow when making those adjustments just for the longevity of your equipment. When shooting split finger or 1 above, 2 below, or Mediterranean draw as some call it, you'll need to run the bottom tiller about an 1/8 of an inch to a 1/4 of an inch shorter than the top. When shooting the bow with 3 fingers under the arrow and touching the nock when at full draw, you're going to want to run your tiller even, 0 split, or possibly an 1/8 of an inch bigger on the bottom. When you start getting into string walking when you're shooting a bare bow and say I'm crawling down about this far, I'm going to run anywhere from an 1/8 of an inch to a 1/4 of an inch or more bigger on the bottom than the top. The reason that the differences of hook onto the string requires different tillers is because when you change where you're pulling the bow back, you're drawing the bow off center or more towards center. And because of that, you need to adjust the limb's balance so when at full draw, it feels more comfortable and it's easier to aim and easier to hold steady. Making adjustments to tiller on your bow is very simple. All you need is a single Allen wrench, and anytime you make a change, make note on a notebook. That way you can track how the performance of your bow is and how it feels when at full draw. And then you can always make adjustments back to where it was in case it felt worse. Or if it made it better, consider continuing that adjustment and see if it makes it feel even better for you, because ultimately, tiller can make a huge difference when it comes to how comfortable the bow is at full draw And I found that if the bow is more comfortable or if the bow is working with me, I'll shoot tighter groups downrange and ultimately higher scores. If you have any requests about more subjects in the future to cover in Archery Basics Explained, please comment below and let me know what else you want me to talk about. I want to make sure that I'm delivering you the content that you're actually interested in. Also, if you wouldn't mind, please share this video and consider checking out the links in the description below on many different ways you can support this channel. And thank you for watching.